The premise of Barbara Gordon Breakout is pretty simple. Our titular hero has been thrown in jail because of her involvement in Batman's crusade on crime, cast into the depths of the harshest prison in the city, Supermax. You may find yourself wondering how the daughter of the former police commissioner was treated so harshly, especially when you consider all of the good that Batman has done for Gotham. The short answer is that Gotham City has fallen under the iron grip of Mayor Pamela Isley and the ruthless police commissioner Vandal Savage. Since he came to power, Savage has been framing political dissenters and locking them away with indefinite sentences. In recent weeks, those same prisoners have started mysteriously turning up dead. To stop the body count from rising, Barbara deliberately let herself get arrested. Stripped of her suit, her tech and her Oracle support, Barbara went in totally blind, but confident that her unique set of skills would keep her alive. But survival inside has been a living nightmare. While she had dominated most of the aggressive prisoners, including Two-Face's daughter Di, Barbara was left broken in the infirmary with a cracked skull and fractured ribs after she was ambushed in her cell. To make matters worse, a corrupt nurse named Sparrow had been secretly pumping her full of a powerful sedative. Trapped in a fog of head trauma and heavy drugs, Barbara is hallucinating versions of the Joker while casting nearby threats as a haunting Grim Reaper. Despite her injuries, Barbara's photographic memory helped her realize that the entire facility is an elaborate, calculated trap. What she doesn't know is that everything is being watched on monitor screens by an unseen mastermind, who is more than likely the Calculator. And if things weren't chaotic enough, a shadowy ally sent by Jim Gordon finally made contact in the prison yard by knocking Barbara into the electric fence. If that's how she helps people, I really don't want to know how she treats her enemies. Now, this mystery helper's identity was a closely kept secret. I had speculated that she could be Andrea Beaumont given all the Grim Reaper imagery, but this issue blows that idea out of the water. No, Barbara's backup is a former police officer, Myrna Shelton, and I think she's a new character. She had been a regular beat cop like Jim Gordon until she saw Savage's Tuco squad roughing up an innocent child while trying to arrest her boss, Captain Edlund. She immediately lost her temper and dived right in, kicking 7 shades of stuffing out of them. While she held her own for the most part, the Tucos fight dirty, and that got her sentenced to Supermax. Which is pretty much what she wanted to happen. In her mind, she had 2 objectives: help out Jim Gordon and save an innocent kid, and kicking Tuco butt was just a sweet bonus. So you can see that she and Barbara already have a lot in common, and this is why they formed a tight bond, sticking together to watch each other's back. So you may be wondering why she threw Barbara into the electric fence, where it turns out a short, sharp shock is the best way to clear the drugs in her brain, but it has left a nasty scar. And speaking of scars, Myrna has what looks like a birthmark on her face, but I wonder if it's a battle wound. She tells Barbara that she owes her dad big time and that it's a story for another time. Perhaps her injury will play into that, if it even is an injury. Regardless, while the 2 bond, Sparrow watches them. Now that Barbara is able to think clearly again, she can focus on her mission to protect the innocent prisoners. The next batch of new arrivals includes City Councillor Vanessa Woods. I'm pretty sure she's a new character too, but given the fact that she had spent a long time hiding from Savage, I think it's a safe thing to say that she's one of the good guys. Now, Barbara is very keen to catch up with Councillor Woods, but while she wanders the halls, she hears a prisoner call for help. Her first instinct is to go and help them, but she's almost immediately set upon by one of the guards. Remember that these guards are pretty much all GCPD rejects or violent criminals that Savage has recruited and given carte blanche to do whatever they please. When Barbara tells him that she was responding to a call for help, he grabs her by the face, asks her if she's sick of getting beaten yet, and shoves her back into her cell. Barbara's response is a firm nope. She calls out saying that someone is getting their head cracked in, but it's pretty clear to me that there's a double meaning here. Yeah, she's referring to the person calling for help, but she's also referring to the guard as she elbows him in the face. While he may try to silence her, it's too late for that, as everyone clearly heard her. This really illustrates the corruption of the Supermax prison. An inmate is literally calling out for help with their life on the line, but this weak little man is more interested in pushing Barbara Gordon around. Although it is funny how he thinks that just because she's injured she's an easy target. Barbara makes him regret his life's choices. But it is strange that there's no conclusion to their fight. Barbara is slammed against a wall, and then the story cuts elsewhere. It seems like it was too late for the poor inmate calling for help too, as we see Di walking into the cell clutching a pair of dice, which is usually a bad sign. For those that are not aware of Di, she first appeared in Two-Face Trial Separation, and claims to be the daughter of Two-Face, not Harvey Dent, she's keen to point out. Where Two-Face uses a double-headed coin to determine his actions, Di uses a pair of dice, which gives her a lot more granularity. Well, statistically speaking anyway. And you would think that, but it seems like it just gives her more violent options to pick from. But the thing about this scene is that the person calling for help called before Di entered her cell, so perhaps Di is not to blame? During the morning roll call, it's not clear what happened overnight. All they know is that whoever was calling for help didn't get any, and the other prisoners aren't interested in talking to Barbara about it. In the canteen, Di approaches Barbara and Myrna and mutters that Barbara's time is coming, but again, it's not really clear what she's referring to. Given that Barbara kicked their heads in on her own and she now has the support of someone equally as tough, it's kind of hard to see how Di might win this fight. But perhaps Di has more resources than we know of. Either way, when Barbara and Myrna resume their duties in the laundry room, they make a gruesome discovery. Sparrow has been murdered and dumped in the laundry basket, which throws things off course, because my understanding was that Sparrow was executing Savage's will by keeping Barbara drugged. Perhaps she was killed because she was supposed to eliminate Barbara and failed. Maybe Savage has got a new favourite inmate now. There's also the possibility that there's another ally in the prison that thinks they're helping Barbara by killing one of her enemies. Hell, maybe these murders haven't been political and it's all something else entirely. Maybe Savage is entirely oblivious to what's going on. Maybe Di just rolled a snake eyes and decided to strike. These are just some of my thoughts on what's going on here, and the chances are I'm completely wrong, but I'd be interested in hearing what you think is going on. I also just wanted to quickly note that Barbara Gordon Breakout is one of the few Bat books not participating in the Bad Seeds crossover next month. I talked about this in my video about Batman number 12, but I'm not at all enthusiastic about this crossover and feel like it has massively disrupted momentum for both the Batman and Poison Ivy books. So I'm pleased that this story isn't getting disrupted for a pointless rushed crossover that's designed to lift sales of other books. Maybe I'm just cynical though. Although having said that, I am really amused by the idea that the only part of Gotham City not impacted by Poison Ivy's scheme is Vandal Savage's political prison. That seems kind of ironic if you ask me. Either way, unlike Batman, my coverage of this series will continue uninterrupted, so long as you all keep watching. Special thanks as ever to my channel members, the Back Issue Brigade. They helped to make this video possible. If you'd like to see your name on screen in my future videos, watch some exclusive content, like essays I've written about the Long Halloween, Gotham Central and Dark Knight: A True Batman story, then join the channel now. August's Back Issue Brigade video is going to be about Batman Adventures number 12, the very first appearance of Harley Quinn. Now, join me next week when I'll be talking about Absolute Green Arrow 4, featuring the Absolute version of Solomon Grundy, and Absolute Flash 18, which contains the debut of Absolute Hunter Zolomon. Hope to see you then.